Alright, y'all. We usually have to worry about, in the deep south, we usually have to worry about hurricanes and such. But in the past few years, more of a growing concern has been these winter storms, which have gotten pretty doggone bad. We got one coming through this year. Again, just every year we get one or two, maybe three. Used to be we get maybe one every 5 to 10 years. And now we get one or two, maybe even three every year. So whatever cycle we in, we got to prepare for it. Because in the deep south, 15, 16 degrees to us shuts everything down. And I know y'all northern people are like, the hell's wrong with y'all? Well, we're just not prepared for it. Just like y'all wouldn't be prepared for, you know how some hurricanes persist and they get up in the Midwest and stuff like that. Y'all ain't ready for all that rain to come down on y'all. We can handle some of that flooding a little bit easier. We understand how to do it. But with these cold storms, we don't have the infrastructure to get the roads clean and stuff like that. We slip and slide all over the place. So, and I finally scheduled some time off to go hunting. And of course this thing would show up. So I'm getting prepared, getting gas for the generators. And that's one of the things I'm doing now. I could have drove it all the way over there, but I didn't want to take the chance. This is another thing we get. Water. Rain. See that? The little seasonal creek is flowing. Oh, and here comes the chickens. So that hasn't flowed in over a year, and now it's flowing because we've been getting our fair share of rain. And I could have probably drove the truck over here. I just didn't want to take the itty bitty chance of getting stuck, and my tractor is out of commission right now. I started filming that video where I'm welding the shift handle back on. I'm gonna try and finish that today if I can get a break. It's kind of drizzling. So I got some diesel. I got gas in this caddy, but that's older. Still okay, I can use it. Got some gas around here. But the gas in that one and that one ain't no good. I know that. That one's barely good. So if I had to run it through the generator, I could. So let me go get that gas and start up. That's 40 gallons of gasoline I bought. And a 5-gallon cylinder. That's 20 gallons. $30 gallons. All right, 40 gallons. That's a 5-gallon propane tank, really about 4 1/4 in there, 4 1/2, I believe. So, altogether, 10 gallons of gas right there, because that's gasoline and that's gasoline. The rest of that's diesel. I'm pretty sure. No, that's diesel. So, alright, that's 6 gallons of gas there. The rest of that's diesel. 5, 10, 15, 20. No. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. About 50 because of the 2.5 gallon tanks. Plus the 6 gallons. So about 56 gallons plus another 5 in there. So about 60, roughly 60 gallons of gasoline. And 4 full cylinders. That might be full too. I don't know. I gotta check. Nope. I didn't fill that up. So I got about 60 gallons of gasoline and 20 gallons of propane, plus another propane tank that's hooked up. So I should be good to go. Oh, plus each generator holds 8.3 gallons. So I roughly got about 6 gallons left in each one. So I have about another 12 gallons. So we're looking at about 72 gallons of gasoline. That ought to get us through any kind of bad spell. They're only predicting it to be below freezing like that for 2 to 3 days. 3 days about. Sometimes it takes about 3 or 4, but that's plenty enough gas to get me through about 4 days of time. Plus, generally you can start getting places where they got more gas, but that's a lot of gas for a generator. Roughly, I can run this house off of my generators in 1 tank of gas a day. So, because you don't run it the whole time. Get things warm, crack-a-lackin', and then shut it down and bring it back up. Keep the refrigerators and freezers shut. You'll be all right. Okay. On to the next. I'm gonna go ahead and start both of these and let them run for a little bit. I let them run the other day, but I like to let them run a little bit more. It's getting close to go time. So Beautiful. Yep. Get the sun. Alright, y'all, so we got some things done around here with the front, with the big freeze coming through. Yeah, looks like that's held up alright. That's all frozen. That's frozen on, so the water is on. So I turn this valve off, leave this all open. That's all pretty frozen, but nothing broke because nothing's in there and the water's in there. Now the water going to the house is down there. Now, got heat right on the well, so that water stays pretty warm coming inside. I think it's like 24 degrees outside, 25 degrees. So I keep a heater right there hitting that water line. So it's pretty good, and it's pretty warm in here. The citrus trees, you never know how they fare in these kind of weather events. I mean, you could see the ice encapsulating the leaves. Now, what the heck was that? Now, I don't think this killed these trees, but tonight we're gonna have another freeze event. You can just see the discoloration. Like like these leaves will probably die, but the tree is probably still alive. It probably didn't burst this. This is what freezes. If it freezes the stem and it expands and it bursts the stem, then you lose the tree. That's how it works. If you lose the leaves, they'll grow new leaves back. It will do that. But it's when it bursts these stems, and I don't think it did that last night. But tonight it's supposed to get even colder, so I'm gonna cover this and try and save this tree. And usually the ice forming on the tree is its own insulator. Believe it or not, ice insulates it. But this is gonna melt off by the end of today. And these trees are gonna have a fit tonight. It's gonna be rough on them. We're gonna lose all these kumquats. These kumquats are done for. They're not gonna make the freeze. They're gonna freeze solid through and through tonight, which stinks, but that's the way things go. But I'm just hoping we don't lose the trees themselves. I had a neighbor came over the other day and ate some, picked some, and oh man, so delicious. So delicious. Delicious. Like orange ice cream. Orange sherbet. Delicious. All right, y'all. I'm go hunker down some things. I gotta bring some corn and some chicken pellets to the barn over there. My wife wants me to have enough corn to feed her pretty deer, and they are pretty deer, and they were eating last night. I was up at 4:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and the deer were eating right when that rain had stopped. So I like to give them something to eat around here, and chickens need to eat, so they eat the corn too. I put it out underneath the feeder, and the chickens will come eat on it, and the deer will eat on it too. So nice to have them here. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Well, hello everybody. This is I'm gonna kind of document how these trees fared after that very horrific freeze we had. As you can see, they don't look too good, but I have a strong suspicion that they'll bounce back. You can see a lot of leaves already on the ground. Look how terrible this orange looks. That looks horrendous, and that's what happens if you hit the leaves. They're just gonna all fall off. All the leaves will fall off here. They're done for. But there might be a little splitting in the branches, but as long as the branches didn't split, you should be okay. So this is the kind of stuff you want to make sure. I cut this branch a long time ago, but you want to make sure you don't have any of this kind of stuff happening. This is where you're going to get some rot. And I just got this holding this tree. Let's see if that, yeah, it's really not doing anything anymore. I just was using this to shape this tree. This tree was leaning that way, so I'm going to let that go. And I'm hoping, and I'm pretty sure they'll put some new leaves out, barring any more freezes. Now this is only February 2nd, and I'm out here in shorts. We're warm. It's really nice and warm right now, but it's going to be a few weeks yet before we know. A few weeks, maybe a month, before we really know how these trees really fared out. You can definitely tell this is going to have to be cut back, probably up into this range. I might even cut it back to around here. We'll see. I want to see what happens. This poor lemon took a heck of a beating, and this is all dead. I'm going to have to cut that back down, way down to the ground. I think I'm only going to save this branch and maybe this branch, and I think I'm gonna cut that whole center out of it, because I don't like the way that looks. See that bark is all dying and dead down that center? That's not good. Kumquat's doing all right. It handled the freeze rather well. It took everything well, except for all the fruit is totally ruined. I mean, that fruit is, I mean, that's just squishy, mushy, nasty stuff. This one, I'm gonna give it a taste. Well, I just don't trust it. It was frozen solid, and now let's just see. Some of it might, like this one might be good. I don't know. Nope, none of them made it. That's all bad. And here's one of the younger Satsuma trees. Looks okay. I mean, it doesn't look okay, but I think it'll put out some new leaves. Again, here we go. One of the moderate aged ones. You gotta look down there and see how the stalks are doing. The trunks doing all right. This one has a lot of lichen on it. I don't like that. But other than that, it's doing fairly well. This one took a beating. I gotta get that. I hate these fern vines. Get that out of there. Gotta watch when you go into these trees. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, see the base of that one looks real good. Now, this is my really good tree, always produces the most. But I have an issue right here that I don't like, and I don't see how that bark is blistering a bit. I think it took some damage here, but it's healing itself over, so that's all right. But you see that? But it's healing itself over, and this is a strong, good, healthy tree. It's gonna make it. See, here's some more blistering going on. That's not good. That's not good. But it's healing itself. Alrighty. Yep, that's the Satsuma trees over here. This Satsuma tree right here was one that y'all seen in the past, and it really put out some spectacular crops. But look at all of this I had to chop out of there. I had to cut all of that. It's all dead branches. See that right there? All of that is dead Satsuma tree branches, and it's very thinned out. But if you look at this central stalk, I was gonna cut it totally out because I see, look at the blistering. But see, this stalk right here is very healthy. I mean, the freeze got the least, but it's very healthy. So I want to see what it does this year. But this whole central stalk, almost this whole thing, you can even see right there, it's blistering on this one. I mean, this is, see, that's no good. That's dead. That's dead branches. But it's got live up over here. So I'm going to see what it does this year. But I think I'm going to, by next year, the only thing I think I'm going to leave, and look, there's even some blistering on that side. I might just leave those two coming off from that way, but there's blistering going on all up in there. Something's not doing great right here. So we'll see. There's no point in taking it out right now because it's still living. It's still giving me many fruits when it does produce. So we're gonna see what it does. If it decides to heal itself, that's one thing. But that's the way citrus goes, you know. You take out the dead, and it'll actually put out some new growth, new shoots on it, and hopefully those new shoots will be the future of this tree. If not, you lose the whole tree. Hey, the other day right here, I planted one of my walnut trees. I planted one right here last year, the same variety. It was called a Tulare. Let's see. This is it. It didn't make it. Tulare English walnut tree. So I planted another one here this year. I had let this one grow in pots, and you can see this is all brand new growth from last year, which that one didn't have when I put it in. It started growing, and then what happened is something landed on it right here and broke this main stem off twice. And then right after that, we had a massive drought. Now I can get the hose over here just to it, And this year I'm going to be Johnny on top of this, Johnny on the spot on it with water. So I don't want to lose another one. These trees are over $100 a pop when they're this big. I got another one I'm gonna plant. I'll plant 3 of my walnuts over here and 3 of them up at my other place. I'll plant the other one about where this container is. I let this one grow all last year, and what I wanted them to do is make some good roots in these pots rather than put them in the ground with the roots that the nursery had sent them with. And that's all new growth coming from the bottom, and this is the new growth from it, and it's got good buds. So I'm gonna plant it about right here. I gotta, the look up is about like that. I got these trees close to it, but it's also that fig right there I don't care about. But I think it's got a great straight shot at the sky to make it a good run. I guess about right where my foot is where I need to go, because that's what, it's farther enough away from them wires right there, further enough away from that tree. That's a magnolia I got in the ground right there, and all of those shit. This is gonna be all right. This will be a good spot for it. And then the third one I got over here, I'm gonna plant exactly where I had a compost pile in the back of the property over there. And that'll be one of the white, English white walnuts. It's gonna be English walnut tree. It's gonna be this one or this one. This is a Ukrainian walnut. I had that one for 2 years. These other ones are just 1 year. And then this one is a butternut. That's going to the land. That's going to our other land. That's going to our other land, and that's going to our other land. So the other day, I was at the nursery. I stopped in to look and see if they had some sun gold tomato seeds. And they had beautiful citrus trees, a whole bunch of them. But look at the price on these. I'm gonna start grafting citrus. And you know, that's pretty expensive. And I asked them, I said, I want a Hamlin orange. And the people who run the nursery said, well, there it is. I said, no, it says Louisiana Sweet. They said, Louisiana Sweet is Hamlin. Now, I'm taking their word for it. That does look pretty much like how a Hamlin looks. But it's kind of different, but a little, I don't know. It looks the same. Hamlins are very thin-skinned, and they don't peel easy. They cut very great, and they have so much juice and so much sweet. They are very, 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 very sweet. So, I mean, my mouth's watering just thinking of them. It's Louisiana Sweet Orange, so I think that's going to do all right. The reason I'm starting to buy these is my wife keeps complaining. You can never make your wife happy. You know, you do. I made the barn for her so I could clean up around here and bring stuff to the barn. And then now she complains, now I gotta look out my window and see that barn with all that stuff way over there. I'm like, oh my God, I made the barn so I could bring all the stuff that you were complaining about that was hanging out around here and put it under a barn way far away from the house. So what I'm gonna do, and I plan to do this anyway, but she thinks when I say I'm gonna do something, it's gonna be 2 seconds later and it's gonna be done. And I'm gonna make a evergreen orchard around there with citrus trees, and that way it'll kind of hide the barn, and I'm going to enclose it and make it prettier, but you know, one step at a time. I mean, I'm trying to work to take care of my daughter's college, my daughter's riding, and all the stuff that we're going through right now. One thing at a time. Come on. I don't know if any of you other guys have that problem, but woo, man. I got some stuff going on in the greenhouse here. I got some cuttings I did from blueberries and roses. I got cuttings from blueberries and roses. I think they're gonna do all right. The pineapples are doing great, except for one got cold burnt, but I think it might come back. It looks like it's putting out. Everything else is, the overwintered peppers are doing fine. I can see them putting out little shoots. They're gonna do all right. Look at all them little shoots right there. They putting out. That's bell peppers and one jalapeno pepper, I believe. And look at all these blueberry. That's the Premier, and that's the Titans. I believe, yeah, that's the Titans. And this is seeded tomato seeds, and then there's jalapeno peppers right there. So I got black creme mortgage lifters and super dupers. Super dupers are my own variety I made. I don't see anything sprouting yet. It's been just a short amount of time yet. I actually think I see something in that one, but we'll see. It'll be a couple more days yet. But I need to water this. Yeah. Gotta keep on top of that. Oh, and then a camellia tree died, and underneath it I noticed a whole bunch of camellias growing up. I had never seen a camellia grow off of a seed before, but each one of them had a little seed attached to it. So the tree that died must have knew it was dying, put out a bunch of seeds, and I got 19 potted camellias here. Ain't that beautiful? So I know a lot of people that's going to be interested in that. So there you go. I need to get the water, and this stuff needs some water. The rest of those seed trays up there are trays that I'm going to use, but we tried to seed for the fall and they didn't work out because just the weather was so off and on. February 2nd, man. It's just crazy heat. See, I did these starts. I just did them in media from the compost piles that I have on the property. Gotta keep those seed starts really wet. Putting too much water on some of that stuff. All right, there we go. The last thing I've done recently is I planted sweet peas and sugar peas, or snow peas, the other day. All I can tell you, it's been a rough year for growing. You can kind of see some of the peas in there right now. Some of them uncovered. I planted a whole bunch of seeds, but they're in there. Well, I can see them kind of mounting up a little bit. All right. Got a bunch of them in there. Push them down into the, ooh, ants. That's a bunch of ants. They'll come up in them ants. I did these 4 beds. I think this is the sugar peas, the sweet peas, and that over there is the snow peas. Those 2 beds of snow peas. Something's already been in here eating the doggone. I could see where they dug them up. Shh. God, dog it. You know? Alright, might have been a bird or something. I might put my net out on top of that to keep things out of there, but I'm trying to get some of these beets to come back. Had a horrific time with beets this year. Deer and everything else ate it. The weather just never played along quite right. Garlic's kind of doing alright. That's garlic that came up from corms, from elephant garlic. Onions from green onions. These were onion seeds I planted. They are so far stunted, but they're starting to grow a little bit, maybe. Look at that little bitty one. I had hundreds of these. I count 10 now. I might get 10 onions. That's horrendous. Look at this. That's a cabbage plant. Look at that. That's a cabbage plant too. And there's another one. They actually, son of a gun, they actually came up. I'm kind of, that's all the way from, well, we'll see what they do. That's all the way from the fall. I put those seeds in there in the fall. That's some lavender. Lavender does grow deep in the south like that, but look how pretty those plants are from the winter. And that's rosemary. Here's some more elephant garlics and chives, and that's 3 green onions, or 4 green onions. The rest of that's chives. Started out from one bundle and I split them apart. They multiply. They just spread out and grow and grow and grow. And you just end up with so many of them. A partner of mine gave me one little bundle. So I put that in the ground and they split into 2 bundles. Now I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And just here with some good garlics coming up. And then that's the other bundle he gave me. I haven't split it yet. So I'm going to split it up. That's a whole bunch of cilantro growing in there that made it through the winter. There's a bunch of green onions. The tarragon's going to come back. It's really far back, but that stuff comes back. It'll come back. That's that basil. You see this? This all went to seed. And that's going to make basil. This will make basil plants. They'll just come up all over around here. And there's a little garlic coming up in there. And parsley. I need to shape up these herb gardens and get them back. But for the most part, believe it or not, they're doing just exactly how they should be doing. I had pepper plants in here last year that were volunteers. I don't want that to happen again this year. I want to keep herbs growing in these 2 gardens and kind of consolidate into herb plants and stuff like that. I'd like to do some flowering plants with I had some fish and stuff planted there, and look, something come along and smelt it and dug it up. I'm gonna have to find out what's doing that. That's gotta be raccoons or possums. All right, y'all. That's it.